What's going on, guys? We are back, and so are the New York Yankees as the chase for 28 continues tonight. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts when facing an opponent?
There is no opponent
And why is that?
because the word love does not exist.
Yeah. What's up? YouTube? Welcome back to a first time episode of the Yankees pregame report here on Uptown Sports TV. I'm your guy, Hector Beauchamp, joined by my compadre this afternoon. I got my guy, the Ace Avenue. All you Yankee fans, how you doing? And before anybody says it, yes, I'm on my my laptop's camera because I lost my bag at the airport. So I got to order me a new microphone. I got to order me a new webcam because I lost my stuff coming back from covering the World Baseball Classic and spring training. But Ace, put all that bullshit to the side, my guy. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. It's finally here after a long off season where it was, what are the Yankees going to do? Cody Bellinger running it back, and we are finally here as the New York Yankees season is about underway. Less than 3 hours, and we got some real official baseball games on top of the first official ABS, I should say, the first official ABS that is going to be official tonight. I'm excited. Can't wait to talk about it. How are you, man? How you doing, my guy?
I'm excited. First of all, I want everybody in the chat to acknowledge my guy Ace Avenue and his setup. Look at my guy's setup, looking crisp with the brand new setup. How you doing? Throw the burps in the chat. No, I'm excited. ABS day. There you go. ABS, it's to start it off. We're gonna have it here now for the season. I know we saw it in spring training. I know a lot of people wanted it to be used in the World Baseball Classic. That's another conversation for another day. But I'm excited. We already have the Yankees lineup out. Before we go to the Yankees lineup, let's acknowledge this beautiful chat that we got. And I'm gonna start off with my man Sean Browning, who kicked it off perfectly with a $5 super chat. Sean Browning, I appreciate you, my guy. Shout out to you and your family. He said, Mission 28. It is a full go. Judge, Triple Crown. Everyone around Judge has to step it up. Sean, absolutely 100%. I'm going to pin that comment. I'm going to get back to it because I want to shout out everybody else that is in the chat. My man Donnie Clark is in the building. A1 since day one is here. How you doing? Shout out my guy Gio. Go Eagles is here. Theo Nosebleed section is here. Shout out to our good friend Jonathan, Mr. Do Your Job, one of the top moderators that's out there on the YouTubes. Appreciate you. My man Mets Life Show Rashad is in the building. Rah. How you doing? Salute. 3 capital S's. Shout out to my guy Stephen B. Stephen B is in the building. My man Hector Bones is here. Hector, how you doing? The Pinstripe Bugle. My man E is here. TC, how you doing? Listen, we're going to do an open panel. TC, later on, please jump up if you have some time to join us in the conversation. Of course, Hector, I show you. Shout out to my guy Hector in the building. Richie Squires is here. Big time Jerry Cadell is here. He says, take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Well, it's time for the seasons. Hello to Hector and the Ace Avenue. Shout out also to the third person of this trio who's not here, our good friend Grace Monroe. She will be joining us on the Wednesday shows. We got to figure out for tomorrow because I'm supposed to be doing Mets opening day. So Ace will probably be producing it while I'm on the screen somewhere on my phone. We'll figure that shit out after the show. But Ace, I'm going to pull up the lineup. I'll toss it over to you so you could go down the lineup, break it down, and give us your thoughts on the lineup for today's game.
All right, so the lineup for our New York Yankees, Max Fried, the Yankee ace, is on the bump. I got to give a big sigh for this one, heck, as Trent Grisham is leading things off in center field, coming off a horrible spring training. The captain, number 99, Aaron Judge. Cody Bellinger's behind him in left field. Ben Rice at first base. Giancarlo Stanton is starting this opening day. Can't wait to see him. Jazz Chisholm, Jose Caballero, Ryan McMahon, Austin Wells. That rounds off this New York Yankees lineup. I'm going to tell you this. I am a little surprised by this lineup. The bottom third, Jose Caballero being up in the lineup. Now, I guess they don't want three. I mean, I would have thought it would have been Austin Wells behind Jazz, Caballero, and then Ryan McMahon. So Jose Caballero, after a hot spring, is up in the lineup.
100%. The one thing that surprises me is the fact that on opening day, I know the Yankees like to do left, right, but to have two lefties back to back with Cody Bellinger and Ben Rice, I'm not sure if the Yankees are doing that for a late game scenario. If they bring a lefty out of the bullpen to face Ben Rice, are they going to keep him in the game, or will they pinch hit him for a veteran hitter like Paul Goldschmidt? That's something to be seen. But I'm surprised to see both the lefties going back to back. Give me a second because my pizza's here.
You good, bro? I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, bro. We only have three righties, so there's no way we could actually balance out this team with three righties. So at some point in this lineup, you're gonna have consecutive left-handed hitters, which is something that the Yankees tried to address or wanted to address this offseason as far as getting more right-handed heavy. But unfortunately, you know, when you only have three righties in the lineup with 9 hitters, you're gonna have like multiple lefties back to back. So what can you do? But Heck is getting his pizza. While he's getting his pizza, first of all, what kind of pizza you got? We got to know when you come back. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe to Uptown Sports. We appreciate you. Yankees Afternoon Brew going on here.
Yes, and we have somebody else that they're eating a slice of pizza right now as they're backstage and choking on that pizza.
Finish that before you come on, man.
Finish that slice of pizza before I bring your ass up here, because the only one that's going to be eating pizza on the screen is going to be me, because I got a special pizza from Cornet.
I think he's about to die. We might have to make sure he's good. You good? You good?
You good, Future? Okay, I'll wait for him to stop giggling
over the screen, bro.
Absolutely. I want to shout out my guy Merk, so saucy in the building. You so saucy, Murky. You so saucy. Shout out to my guy Merk in the building. All right, Future's here. Future, how you doing? Welcome. Future got a new phone, so when I called him the other day, he didn't answer me, and I figured it out because and our WhatsApp group was like, all right, guys, I got me a new phone. It's working. So
he was on that new phone. Who it is?
That's what it was. You're muted too, by the way. Look at that shit. Look, first game of the season. Gotta boo him out there. Big Time Jerry said, enjoy that pizza, Hector. How about now, Future? You there? As Future figures out his technical difficulties, going back to the Yankees lineup. Obviously, Aaron Judge is going to be Aaron Judge. I also put in the chat, if you guys can interact with the poll that is in the chat, I put biggest key to the Yankees' success this season, right? You got 4 options. Pitching is the number 1. It's at 45%. Aaron Judge clutch performance is sitting at 15%. Bullpen and defense, I put that together. That's at 20%. And the overall help for the team is at 20%. To me, I see people saying 43% for the pitching, 45% for the pitching. I'm split. I'm in between both. I'm in between the pitching and I'm in between that overall health for the team. I think this team is going to come down to its health. And if Giancarlo Stanton and in that starting rotation, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, those are going to be 2 big question marks in the rotation. My fault, bro. I'm just getting a text message.
No, you good. Hopefully we get Future in the future of this stream here. You see what I did there? But when it comes down when it comes down to the poll, though, the keys to the Yankees' success, it's hard to say for the regular season, right? Because when we get to the postseason, that's going to be a whole different story as far as what the key to success is. But early on, obviously, you know, you're looking at a guy like Aaron Judge to have another monster year, but he's going to have to show out when it comes to playoffs. But you can't win a championship in the end of March. It's literally impossible. But I'm going to go with bullpen and defense, because for the first time in a long time, I'm a little bit worried about this Yankee bullpen. Now, I do have faith that ultimately the Yankees will ultimately figure it out. But when it comes down to it, we don't know whose bullpen around the league is going to be good until we actually start playing some games. But you're looking at guys like David Bednar to have a good year, Camilo Duvall to have a good year, Fernando Cruz coming off a good year. After that, a lot of question marks. You got Hedrick, Ryan Weathers will eventually get back into the bullpen. Cade Winquist, the Rule 5 pick, is going to be getting a shot early on as well. So it's just a lot of question marks ultimately when it comes to this bullpen and how Aaron Boone and company is going to manage them. Hopefully they have some success early on, but if they struggle, the Yankees are going to have to make some moves or show some faith in some of these young guys.
it's going to come down to I think when you look at the bullpen, being able to have guys that you could call up from the minor leagues, whether it's Carlos Legrand, who you could put in the rotation on the bullpen, or Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. A lot of people talking about Luis Hill to put him in the bullpen. I think a lot of the success of the Yankees season this year is going to be determined on the growth and development of their young players. Shout out to Austin Wells. I just want to give a credit and flowers where flowers are due. In the World Baseball Classic, I think he deserved to be in the World Baseball Classic more than anybody else when it comes to deserve is the wrong word to use. He benefited the most from being in the World Baseball Classic. That's a better word to use. We're out of anybody else. The swag, the energy, the confidence that he got. When you looked at Austin Wells, he was the best catcher in the entire World Baseball Classic, offensively and defensively combined. So you got to give credit where credit is due and flower where flowers due to Austin Wells, and that's going to segue perfectly into bringing Future back into the conversation because he is a big Austin Wells supporter.
My catcher getting the love he deserves.
Don't be screaming though. I just lowered your mic because you're screaming. Go ahead.
Fair enough. I think my mic might be topped out anyways. No, I am so glad that Wells is getting the flowers that he's deserves. Like, I get it offensively. All right, but I get offensively he's shown like not the greatest showing, especially last year more than anything. But I strongly see this season as a big step up for Wells. Like, fully expect him to just ball out this season. He did it. He did so well in the WBC. You could sit here and say, "Oh, but it's still technically spring training," and you can like make that argument all you want. But the WBC is a different atmosphere. It's essentially a playoff atmosphere from the first game of pool play, from the get-go. And he was able to take it and run with it. That's what I loved so much about his accomplishments in the WBC. And to be rated as the top catcher in the tournament, it puts a smile on my face that he was able to ball out the way he did.
Yeah. I mean, I could see both sides of it. I can congratulate him for what he did in WBC if it translates well to the regular season, because if it doesn't, then it absolutely means nothing. If he wasn't riding that momentum, if he comes out and struggles, we're going to need a big year from Austin Wells and a lot of other young guys. I'm looking at Ben Rice as well. Ben Rice is going to have to take that step forward. Can he step into the upper echelon of star players in the MLB? I'm looking for him to take that next step forward. I'm looking at a guy like Jose Caballero, who's finally getting a shot this year as well. But yeah, Austin Wells had a successful WBC. You can't take that from him. But I need to see it translate in the regular season, because if he's doing the same shit he did last year, it means nothing to me.
Yeah, and I also wanted to piggyback and continue my point, as I got my slice from Cornet's Pizza. If you guys don't know Cornet's Pizza in New York City, they're known for their big jumbo slices. Future, stop drooling over my pizza. You're not going to have any. But to piggyback off what I was saying with Austin Wells, we're going to need the other young players on the roster, to your point, Ace, to step up. What is Anthony Volpe going to be when he comes back? When if Trent Grisham hits 150 for the first month and a half, going on 2 months of the season, how long is the front office going to wait before they pull the move and bring up either Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones? What are Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez, more Jason Dominguez, are going to be doing down at the minor leagues that's going to warrant them being called up to the major leagues? Will Warren's phenomenal spring training, will that transition into the regular season? Because outside of Cam Slittler, Will Warren was, and Carlos Legrand, Will Warren was the talk of the time. I mean, the talk of the time when it comes to his stats. Will Warren in spring training had a 1.66 ERA. So would that translate to the regular season? And if it does, Will Warren can easily win 15 games as the number 5 starter in this Yankee rotation. And that's not crazy for me to say. But it's going to come up to how is the rest of the young guys going to perform, and how is the back end of that bullpen going to wind up? What's Fernando Cruz going to be like coming off of the World Baseball Classic? Same thing with David Bednar as well, and Camilo Duvall.
Go ahead, Future.
I think out of all of them, especially when it comes to our bullpen, Camilo impressed me the most, especially with how he handled himself with Team DR. I mean, granted, it's not the first time he's played in the WBC, so it's not new territory for him. but his pitching impressed me a lot. David was a shutdown pitcher, so we can see that he's going to be solid for us at the very least. But
He
when
was
it comes
good.
down, no, when it comes to our bullpen, I only trust like just going into the season, purely going into the season. I trust four guys: Fernando, Camilo, Hill, and Bednar.
Hill's
Those are the
age
only.
scares me.
Yeah.
He's getting up
Uh,
there.
who?
Hill's age scares me a little bit. He's getting up there.
Yeah, but the good thing about him, he's a lefty sidearm pitcher, so it's like there's a little more gas to it. But I feel like this would be the last season we see Tim, anyways. But I still have my faith in the lefty. So, but when it comes to the rest of the bullpen, I am excited to see Cade Winquist, and I'm excited to see Brent Hedrick, especially after the performance Hedrick put up last year. For what it's worth, his strikeout numbers were something else. So Hedrick definitely gives me a bright spot. But if you're talking about full confidence going into 2026, those four, and that's where it ends.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end the poll real quick. We got 30 votes on it, and right now it's the Yankees pitching at 43%. With everybody in the chat pointing as the Yankees' key to success. Go ahead, Ace. My fault. While I get another poll going in the chat.
Now I was gonna ask you real quick. You got that thing I sent you with the 26-man roster? Can we put that up here so we could talk about that as well?
The 26-man roster.
I texted to you.
Okay, I'll pull that up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So while he's doing that, we do got a couple.
Because you don't have an iPhone, so I have to send it to
Yeah. Well, we're not perfect. You guys aren't perfect. I understand if you don't have Androids. So, but this roster that we're looking at, man, it's like this roster that we're looking at. It's like we will be looking at shortly. We can go ahead and take a dive into that, but we do got a couple guests backstage. Heck, you want to go ahead and announce them up?
Yeah, I'll bring them up. I don't see it. If you can send it to me again. I got my guy JV in the building, and of course my man Ben. JBM Sports Group is here, fellas. How are you doing, JV? It's so good to see your beautiful ass, my guy. I miss you.
What's going on, brother? I miss you guys. What's going on, Ace? What's up, Future? How you guys doing?
It was good.
Chilling. Brew
as always. What's up, brother?
How's it going, brother? How's everybody doing today?
Everybody is good, and then we got my guy Mikey Caliendo. Ro is in the building.
How we doing?
I'm good. I just want to fix your audios real quick, make sure everything is good. As Ace sends me over the 40-man roster for the Yankee real quick, I'll let the fellas introduce themselves. They've been up here multiple times. If you guys don't know, you guys better know. Ro, I'll start with you and throw it down the line to JV and Ben.
Well, along with the other two fellas that jumped on here, the three of us started our own channel. We do a podcast. We do everything. We do baseball. We do a little football, a little basketball, and we're diving into a couple other sports. But as of now, I could say I'm happy to be here with you fellas. Hector, Ace, Future. It's always a pleasure to see all of you, and I'm glad to be back up here with you.
Yeah, same here. I mean, always doing these panels is an honor. Thank you guys. I appreciate having us up. And opening day is now here. Finally, it's the quest for 162. Right, you got to go through the 162 game grind. So this is the best time of year, and like I said, thank you guys for having us up. I think this is awesome. So, and hopefully the Yankees get off to a good start tonight in San Francisco.
Yeah, like Hector said, recurring guest, and I feel like at this point it just feels like the chemistry is always there. I appreciate all you guys for obviously having us here as JBM Sports Media, and we don't take this for granted at all. Let's have ourselves a great night.
Yes, sir. Ace, do you have the 40-man roster pulled up on your side to screen share it, or?
I can. 26-man roster. I sent it to you.
The 26-man. Okay, my fault. Yeah, just technical difficulties.
It's all good.
All good, brother.
I don't see it on my end. Did you
email
it?
You just responded saying you got it on a text message.
No, I didn't go through. It literally didn't go through.
All right, I'll get it.
All right, my fault.
Apples, bro. Apple, bro.
Anywho, opening day is here. We have the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants. To start it off, Roro, since you are the residential fan from Queens, I'm gonna kick it over to you. We're gonna talk Mets baseball later on in the conversation, but I want to start off with you. When it comes to this matchup, What are your expectations? What are you looking forward to for the season when it comes to either teams? And obviously, if you want to throw in some stuff about your Mets, you could throw in some stuff about your Metropolitans.
I'll save the Mets stuff for later. I just want to enjoy tonight. I'm just glad baseball's back. To be honest, I don't really care who was playing tonight. Listen, it's the Yankees Giants. Listen, what I find interesting about tonight is actually the pitching matchup, and you got two studs on the mound, Fried and Webb. To me, the most interesting thing is Webb's numbers against the Yankees, which are actually terrible in the 3 appearances he's had. I think his ERA is over 5 against the Yankees, so that's something notable to watch. And something else I looked into going into tonight, I wanted to see who maybe had the most action against Logan Webb. And obviously, Aaron Judge leads the way, but it's a very small sample size. The most success over the most at-bats against Logan Webb is actually Ryan McMahon. He's hitting over 300. He's 8 for, I believe, 34, 35 against Logan Webb. So that might be something to look out for. But listen, I'm glad baseball's back. The itch is finally gone. We're here. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited.
Oh, it definitely was a crazy itch. It definitely was a crazy itch. So we do have the 2006 26-man roster for the New York Yankees. I'm going to put it off real quick. Ace, I'll kick it over to you to go through it, and then we can toss it around to the fellas to join the conversation.
All right, cool. The 26-man roster: pitchers Bednard, Bird, Blackburn, Cruz, Duvall, Fried, Hedrick, Hill, Cam Slitler, Will Warren, Weathers, got a little feedback over that. As far as catchers, we got J.C. Escara and Austin Wells. Infielders, Jazz Chisholm, Goldie McMahon. Outfielders, Gerchek, Grisham, Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. Utility, Bellinger, Caballero, Ben Rice, and Rosario. All right, so this is the official 26-man roster. I'm going to kick it over to you, Ben. Is there anybody that surprises you that made this roster?
Well, I wouldn't say surprise necessarily, but I think the fact that Cade Winquist did make it to this opening day roster, I think that's a major plus. I think a lot of Yankee fans were hoping that would be the case. I mean, I really like that. I thought this kid deserves his shot, and the fact that he's getting it right here, I think that's the biggest thumbs up, I would say, looking at this opening day roster.
For me, just to quickly, Luis Hill not making this roster is definitely a concern. When it comes to the strength of the rotation, you would expect the guy that won the Rookie of the Year to be somewhat in that mix, and for him not to be in that mix is definitely concerning. And Will Warren had his ups and downs, and the fact that he made it over Hill is just letting you know basically what's going down. I guess at spring training it just didn't pan out for the way we expected it for Hill, and Will Warren's been a bit better. Obviously, Dominguez is another guy not making this squad after being there. Obviously, we know his defensive inefficiencies in left field, but that's why they signed a guy like Randall Grichuk. Randall Grichuk is a better defender, and he's a right-handed bat. That's basically what they were looking for in the outfield, and they were able to go get a guy like Grichuk who's a veteran presence. But it's definitely a little bit different. The one thing I like to see them change is potentially getting maybe a right-handed catcher. I think we're a little too left-handed at catcher right now. But then what do? You send J.C. Escara down? And I know he's really comfortable with that pitching staff, and he's got a little pop as well. So there's some things that you may change in the future as the season progresses. But there's definitely some question marks when it comes to the back end of this bullpen as well. Obviously, my one big thing is what are we going to get out of Camille Duvall? If he could find that control early on, I think he'll be a real stud. But if not, it could be a long season for a guy like him.
I just want to take a pause real quick. We got over 80 people in the building watching us collectively on YouTube. We got over 40 in the building. We're sitting on 15 likes. If you guys can, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. The more that you hit the live, hit the likes on the live, subscribe, interact with the poll, the more that YouTube would push the live in the algorithm. So if you can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you guys are following everybody that's on the panel. The link to Ace's channel is in the description of this video. Ben, I made you a moderator on the channel, so if you want, you could drop the link in the chat from your YouTube account so people can give you guys a subscribe. For me, real quick, I'm going through the 26-man roster for the New York Yankees for this season. Obviously, big surprises. Jason Dominguez not on there. Luis Hill, and I was having the conversation earlier with Ben, talking about it while we was on the phone. And Ace, let me know if you understand, if you see where I'm coming from. I think the reason why the Yankees are going with Luis Hill in the minors and with Ryan Weathers in the rotation, I think one, we all know about the 4-man rotation that the Yankees can put, but with Ryan Weathers being a lefty and Luis Hill being a righty, if those roles were reversed, if Luis Hill was a lefty and Ryan Weathers was a righty, I think the Yankees would have Luis Hill in the rotation and Ryan Weathers in the minors. I think the Yankees, they want to have 2 lefties in the starting rotation to pair with 2 righties. I think that's why the Yankees are going with the rotation that they're going with until they need to call up Luis Hill at the moment he does get called up. So I know a lot of Yankee fans were upset. I just think it's how the schedule is. And if the Yankees and in the front office, if they can manipulate the schedule and the roster to their advantage, they're going to try to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I see your point on that. But Ryan Weathers also had a terrible spring as well. Luis Hill actually had a better spring than him, but yet he's the one that's getting sent down. Personally, me personally, when I'm looking at this 26-man roster, we have a lot of lefties coming out of the bullpen. Eventually, when Ryan Weathers does go back to the bullpen, I'm looking for somebody like Hedrick to maybe get sent down, Tim Hill to maybe get DFA'd. Because then you'd be looking at a bullpen of Hedrick, Tim Hill, Ryan Yarbrough. That's 3 lefties that you're going to have coming out if you can get some of these guys back. But at least to start the season, the 4-man rotation, at least for the first 2 to 3 weeks with as many days off as we have, it should suffice. But I'm also concerned, like I think it was Ben that might have said it, I'm also concerned with the 3 lefty catchers. We're making the same mistakes as last year. I'm okay with the whole running it back aspect. I'm fine with that. That was like the slogan of the winter. But when you're making the same mistakes by having 3 lefty catchers again, it kind of irritates me. I like JC Escara. I think he should get a good opportunity, but we need that right-handed hitter coming off the bench. Is that going to be Randall Gerchick? We don't know. He also had a horrible spring and a smaller sample size. But ultimately, like, there are a lot of question marks when it comes to this bullpen. You are relying on a lot of guys that I'm looking at it like mid. Paul Blackburn ate up a lot of innings for us last year, but he was kind of mid at the end of the day. But it's a lot of question marks. But ultimately, I do have faith that the Yankees will figure it out. Hopefully, one of these young guys can come up really quick and then put Ryan Weathers back in the pen, because I think that's where he's most successful at, especially considering his injury history. Do you really want a lot of innings, a lot of wear and tear on a guy like Weathers, especially when we're going to be going into the summertime? I personally would rather have given maybe a guy like Luis Hill, maybe giving Luis Hill a shot, or a guy like Carlos Legrand a shot, and then you put Ryan Weathers in the pen.
I get it. Now, I want to ask you, and obviously I want to pose the question to the entire chat and to everybody that's on the panel. So after you go, H, you kick it over to Future and everybody else. Do we really view Ben Rice as an actual catcher? Like, because if we're looking at the roster or whatever, Ben Rice, he's a first baseman. They have him listed as a utility guy. I don't think the Yankees will view him as a serviceable backup catcher for a full 162 game season. I think they'd rather go with JC Escara as that conventional backup catcher, and they just have him listed as a utility guy because he's played catcher sometimes in the past, and maybe the Yankees will use him as a catcher here or there sporadically in just emergency situations. But I don't view him as your traditional backup catcher for a full 162 season, if you get what I'm saying. And then, like, after you go, Ace, get everybody else. Folks in the chat, let me know if I'm off base too.
No, I'm right there with you. I don't view him as that everyday catcher. I do want him at first base every single day, even when there's a lefty on the mound. I would like to see him out there occasionally. I do know that Paul Goldschmidt is probably going to get a lot of those starts when it comes to that. But Ben Rice's versatility allows you to do stuff like that. Like, let's say you have a scar in a game and it's a situation where you want to pinch hit somebody. You do have Ben Rice that can play that, and you also have Goldie on the bench. You also do have Cody Bellinger that could play first base as well. So his versatility is something that is a weapon and an asset for this team.
Go ahead, Future. You could go.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't view Ben Rice as a catcher at all. Never did, never will. He's not a good catcher. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh," and he had little sprouts last year, but the reality is, amongst all of our catchers, he was the worst rated amongst all of them. He is not a catcher. He is a first baseman, and that's where his strength is. But as a catcher, nope. I'm good. Please keep him out of behind the plate.
And we've seen guys in the past that they've come up in the minor leagues as catchers, offensive guys, and when they've gotten to the major leagues, they've had to switch positions. Everybody's favorite Yankee, Josh Donaldson, he did that, right? Craig Biggio did that in the past as well, right? So we've seen that in the past. Offense, Brad Austin, not Brad Austin, it's Brad Lidge or whatever the fuck is the third baseman for the Tigers, Brandon Inge or whatever his name was.
Brandon
When he
Inge,
came up,
yeah.
he was a catcher, then he was a converted third baseman. So we've seen that in the past. Roro, if you want to go and then kick it down the line.
I mean, I'll be honest. The three of you kind of hit every nail on the head when it came to that situation. I don't see him as a full time catcher. I think it's going to be more of an emergency type situation, like what Hector said, or even just a matchup situation. And the fact that you do have the versatility of himself, Bellinger, they could move around, they could slot into first if you ever get stuck in a pinch. If you want a pinch hit for a scar, if he's the guy hitting, if he's the one playing that day and he got the start, it gives you not versatility, but it gives you some sense of depth and a backup plan. God forbid, maybe a Scar or Wells were to miss some time. So that's also a decent little thing to have in your back pocket, that you do have that guy who's primarily a first baseman who can also catch. That's how I kind of look at it. I don't view him as a catcher. But listen, to have guys that could play multiple positions, that's the new way. That's the new way. That's a new day and age. And to now have guys that could catch, that's even more dangerous because, like I said, you now create a weapon in the sense of you have a matchup difference. Let's say one of these guys do get hurt, God forbid. It's a long season. Things happen. Guys. It's guys are going to miss some time. They need a day off. X, Y, and Z. So to have that ability is a very good thing, and it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's definitely agreeable with all you guys. I don't see him as a catcher either. I think he's going to be a first baseman, and I think that's where he should be focusing his time. My one thing is this: Austin Wells needs to prove that he could be an everyday catcher. He's got to be able to prove that. Listen, the power numbers are there, and the RBI production is there. He had 21 and 71, I believe, last year. You'll take that every day, but when you hit 215, 216, that's the problem. His other problem also is hitting fastballs. He struggles with hitting fastballs up in the zone, which is a problem for me. I mean, in Yankee Stadium with that short porch in right field, you have to, as a left-handed hitter, you have to be able to catch up to that fastball and be able to do damage. And I think that's where his average actually suffers, is he's not able to hit the fastball, and he puts himself in counts where you would be seeing a lot of fastballs, and he can't convert. So I want to see him be able to convert in fastball counts. For example, 2-0, 3-1, 2-1, counts like that where he's ahead and he could see more fastballs. He's got to be able to convert on that. He shouldn't be getting eaten alive when he's up in the count. And to me, that's something that's going to be able to help his offense. If he could really prove that he could hit for average, and I'm not saying he's got to hit 280, right? He's not Jorge Posada. I'm not asking him to be Jorge Posada. I'm asking him to hit 250 and be serviceable. And I know he could call a good game behind home plate, and he could work with the pitching staff. They won 94 games last year with him catching the majority of games. So I have no issue with that. My issue is the offensive side, where he does get streaky and he gets these long stints of him not hitting the baseball, and that has to change.
Yeah, I think when you look at Ben Rice in general, I don't think that he should be even catcher number 2. I think it should be an emergency thing, if that even could be a possibility. I think first base is his position, and it should be his position. The only way anybody should have him at catcher would be in fantasy, because that utility be great when he's on your fantasy team. So other than that, no, I don't see it. It just maybe emergency catcher at best, but if not, nah, just stick him at first base and let that be that.
When you look at where the Yankees have him in the lineup, and there was somebody in the chat that I didn't get to say what up to. Folks in the chat, keep on hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. Where you see where the Yankees have him in the lineup, he's an 8th hitter in the lineup. If you look at his stats that he produced last year, 21 home runs, 70 plus RBIs, even if he gives you a 215, 220 batting average, Ace, tell me if I'm wrong. You take that from your 8th hitter in your lineup. You take that from your 7th hitter in your lineup. The issue with the New York Yankees is that if Giancarlo Stanton gets injured, if Ryan McMahon doesn't produce, if Chad Chisholm goes into a slump, and if you have to move Austin Wells, and if Austin Wells is your 5th hitter in your lineup, or he has to be your 4th hitter in the lineup, you're going to have trouble during an 162 game season. But if Austin Wells, if he could come through as your seventh hitter, if your eighth hitter, or even as your sixth hitter in your lineup, you take those numbers. But I gotta agree with you. He has to step it up and he has to produce as a higher clip this year, especially coming off of the WBC that he had.
Yeah. Well, as of right now, he's 9. So whatever production you get from him in that ninth spot is found money at this point. Hopefully he can run into a couple, but I want to see, like I said, him
Yeah, I
taking
did my math wrong. I read it wrong. My fault. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. I want to just see him take that next step forward as one of the Yankee youth that could pan out, because this to me should be a make or break year from Austin Wells. If he has another year like he's had in the past, it might be time just to move on from him.
That's a hot take right there on its own. We're gonna keep it going. Shout out to everybody.
I think Grace would agree.
No, I think Grace would agree as well. You got to hit that Grace Monroe. I wish we had a drop for that. We're going to need a Grace Monroe, Austin Wells drop. Folks in the chat, Donnie Clark says, oh, John the Beagle Dial Station and whatever. Okay. Throwing runners out. Wells needs to be consistent at throwing runners out. We saw him in spring training a little bit, look somewhat better at throwing some runners out, but I can agree with you. We're going to keep the line going in the conversation. Ace, when it comes to the divisions, when it comes to the AL East, when it comes to where the Yankees stand, what's your predictions? Let's go through each divisions. Let's start in the American League. What do you think is going to happen in the AL East? And let's keep it going as we go through the AL East, Central, and the West. And then we bring it over to the National League afterwards.
I'm going to go ahead and say AL East, New York Yankees, 95 wins. I've been on record saying Aaron Judge triple crown this year. I'm going to put that out there in the world. I think he's going to have a monster year, and 95 wins is good enough to get the AL East championship back. I think that's what will happen in the AL East. What about you, Future? What do you have for the East?
Future frozen.
I agree with Ace, minus one thing. I think this will be the year after 3 years where the Yankees where the MLB has a 100-win season, and it will be the Yankees.
Okay. Sipping on that sauce. Roro, to break every Yankee fan's heart that's on the panel, what's your thoughts on the AL East?
I'm going to completely disagree, respectfully, obviously, with Ace and Future, and my reason is this. To me, all the teams in the East, outside of maybe the Tampa Bay Rays, all got better, and the Yankees stayed exactly the same. They got better. Everybody got better. They improved.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing, though, because this was the number one offensive last year. So you are adding that consistency. Now, you could say, I agree, some teams did get better, like Toronto, but they also got worse for losing Bo Bichette. The Boston Red Sox are young. Roman Anthony's him, though. I will tell you that. Yeah, Roman Anthony's a stud, but we also know how the Red Sox operate. How is their rotation going to hang out? And as far as the Orioles, I would say Pete Alonso, great. He struggled in spring training, but that lineup is too young. They're not proven yet. So I still did think the Yankees are the best team in the AL, but I'll let you finish your point.
I'll say Toronto is, to me, I mean, they were this close from winning a World Series. Yeah. Took the Dodgers, the big bad Dodgers, to Game 7. They obviously finished with the same record as the Yankees, and they are dealing with the injury bug right now with their rotation. That's totally understandable, but they do have guys in that rotation that could at least weather the storm until they get their studs back. The other thing with the Yankees is you're going into a situation now where Luis Hill is starting the season in the minors, Carlos Rodon is on the IL, and Garrett Cole is also on the IL. You don't know what version of Garrett Cole you are going to get because he's an aging guy who just had Tommy John for the first time. We don't know what that's going to look like. The other thing with Rodon, what is he going to be? Is he going to emulate what he was last year and make those strides and improvements that he did make to himself? We don't know. Time will tell. So you're going into a situation where your team did get a little bit older. Yes, they had a monster offense. I'm not taking that away from them. But the other aspect to it is it's Max Fried and then kind of a bunch of question marks right now going through the rest of that rotation. If you can't weather that storm with that pitching staff and you have an atrocious April due to that pitching staff, you're in serious trouble. I think Toronto is going to weather that storm a little bit better than the Yankees because I think they have more depth and more trusted depth. And their offense is still legit. I think Okamoto is going to be an absolute animal coming over from Japan. I think he's going to be an absolute animal and not going to say that it's going to be a Bo Bichette who type of situation, but I think he's going to fill in very nicely in that lineup, and he gives them some added thump that I think they needed to complement what they already have. So they've added to their bullpen, they've added to their rotation, they've added to their lineup, and to me, the Yankees stayed the same. to me, I needed them to do a little bit more, and then I could say they were over the top. But right now, I have Toronto. They're taking the East again.
Okay.
Yeah,
He has no faith in Ryan Weathers. No pun intended. Go ahead.
I took him in fantasy. I think he's going to be a dog. Honestly, I think he's going to be a dog for your team. I'm serious. I think he's going to be the dark horse of the Yankees rotation.
I actually agree with that. I think Ryan Weathers going to have a really good season. Actually, I think forget this whole spring training. I think once he gets his feet wet, I think he'll be fine. But in regards to the division, I listen. The Yankees did win the same amount of games as Toronto, right? I mean, they both won 94 games. They both led the American League in wins. And they were right up there in top 5 for the amount of wins in the entire league. But when it comes to depth, like Ro was talking about, I do think Toronto has a little bit more depth, and I think right now they're just a better contact hitting team. They don't strike out, and they walk a ton, and they put pitches in some tough spots to make some big pitches, and it could hurt opposing pitching. And I think Toronto has the offense right now to do that. Yes, I think there's a little bit more questions when it comes to their pitching. Dylan Cease is absolutely atrocious against the AL East. Everybody knows that. Even against the Rays, he is not good. He is not good against Baltimore. He's not good against the Yankees or the Red Sox. So, obviously we'll see what happens there. But, I do think they edge it out over the Yankees. Not by much. I just think right now the Yankees' biggest question mark to me in winning a division is their bullpen. Their bullpen to me isn't as good as last year. There wasn't as many question marks I felt as last year as there is this year. And what are we going to get? To me, is the biggest question out of Camille Duvall. If Duvall is not going to be a good bridge for Bednar, the Yankees are in trouble because Fernando Cruz is a little bit injury prone, and I don't think you could rely on a guy like Cruz to be the bridge consistently, the whole year. I think he needs help. I think he needs a guy, that could really help him, and that's going to be a guy like Duvall. And if Duvall can't do that, the Yankees have some question marks, in the back end of their bullpen. And what are you going to do with a guy like Jake Bird? Is Jake Bird going to be somebody that can produce for them? We don't know. So to me, right now, the question marks lie in the back end of the bullpen for the Yankees.
Agreed.
Honestly, I think that's super fair. 24 hours, literally, we recorded our Blue Jay season prediction, and I had them topping the division. But over the last 24 hours, my pick actually changed because I'm going and buying in all the Red Sox Kool-Aid. I'm going with the Red Sox to win the AL East this year. I think when you look at their depth in this rotation, obviously adding Sonny Gray, looks like he's pitching with a little bit of vengeance, obviously. Ranger Suarez, we talk about Ryan Weathers being terrible in spring training. Ranger Suarez was absolutely atrocious in spring training, but spring training, clean slate now. And they have guys like Connolly Early, Peyton Tolley, Johan Oviedo, Brian Bayo, just the depth in this rotation. They have, obviously, I haven't even mentioned who I think is going to win the AL Cy Young this year in Garrett Crochet, but they have so much depth. And their bullpen, I do like the moves they made. Danny Colomb, he's now there. Garrett Whitlock's still there. Justin Slayton was decent, but, he has his inconsistencies. And obviously, they had the AL reliever of the year in Aroldis Chapman. Even though this lineup is relatively young, Roman Anthony is that guy. I think he could easily finish top 5 in AL MVP voting this year. Cedar Rafaela is a gem defensively, and he has an underrated bat, to be honest. He's talk about a utility guy. He can play a little bit of everything. And Jarren Duran, I think from what I saw from him in the WBC and in spring training, I think he's going to be perfectly fine this year. Wilyer Abreu, talk about WBC moments right there. I love this Red Sox team. I really do. Wilson Contreras, I forgot to even mention him. I think he's going to do great at Fenway. Defensively, he's one of the best first basemen in the league. I think he's adjusted perfectly at that position. I just hope their biggest X factor in general could be Marcelo Meyer. I think he could make those strides. He just got to stay healthy. But yeah, I'm buying with the Red Sox to win the AL East.
Yeah, for me, the thing when it comes to obviously, I'm gonna just start up and say that I have the Yankees winning the AL East. I think it's gonna come down to the Yankees and the Blue Jays. It's gonna be a tough battle like last year. I have the Yankees winning it 90. My man Jacob Petruzzi. I got the Yankees winning 92 games, and I got the Blue Jays winning 91 games. I think it's going to come down to a one game difference between the top two teams in the AL East. For me, the Red Sox was the biggest disappointment this offseason because at the winter meetings, the Red Sox were connected to Pete Alonso. The Red Sox were connected to Ketel Marte. The Red Sox were connected to Joe Ryan. They were in heavy conversations for those three players, and they struck out on each one of them. I love Wilson Contreras. I think Wilson Contreras is a phenomenal first baseman. He does not replace the offensive production that Alex Bregman gave the Red Sox last year in that lineup, right? And I love Roman Anthony. I think Roman Anthony is a dog as well. But to put all this pressure on that young kid. Man's not even 24, 25 years old. To put all this pressure on him to carry the Red Sox offense for 162 games, I think that's just unfair pressure to put on such a young player. If he comes out and if he's the next Bobby Crosby of MLB, I look stupid, right? If he comes out, if he's the next LeBron James of the MLB, I look stupid. Ro's favorite player, LeBron James. So I just think it's just unfair pressure to put on such a young kid. And I think the Red Sox front office, they did them more of a disservice because there was so much hype around this team coming into the offseason. Like I said, at the winter meetings, I was talking to so many people and they was like, yeah, the Red Sox, they're right there. They're going to get Ketel Marte. It's just working out the prospects. And they didn't want to give up the prospects. When it came to Pete Alonso, they didn't want to give up that extra year. When it came to Joe Ryan, they didn't want to give up the prospects that they were asking for in order to get them. And they have every right not to give up those prospects, but to not get at least one of those guys that you were connected to, I think is a failure of an offseason. And then your backup plan to Joe Ryan is Sonny Gray, who had a borderline 4 ERA in the NL Central. Your backup to getting Ketel Marte and Pete Alonso is Wilson Contreras to be your first baseman and to be in the middle of your lineup. I think those are piss poor plan B options for the Red Sox, personally.
You know what? You're right. I mean, it's one of those things where I think you make a point, but also look at it like this. Wilson Contreras is coming there at first base to replace Tristan Casas, who's an absolute jobber. And I think when you look at, I mean, I got to be honest, he's a jobber. I mean, this guy's going to become a journeyman, if I could be honest. I'm just keeping it real. But I do like the young arms that they do have, like Tolley, Connolly Early. I think these are guys that specifically, I don't know how everything's going with Johan Oviedo, but they could put him to the bullpen or they could put Tolley in the bullpen and everything could be smooth and sailing. But I don't know. It's just something with this Red Sox team. I think maybe I'm a little bit WBC drunk right now. And I see Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran, how good that they did. Roman Anthony even, how good they did. And I think they could be fun. I mean, Trevor Story was healthy for the most part of last year. And we saw what Trevor Story could be when he's healthy. So that's cool. Also, Hector's favorite catcher, Carlos Narvaez. I mean, he's a good offensive little piece right there too. Look, I like the Red Sox this year. I'm buying the hype, and if it comes to bite me, it bites me. Whatever.
Yeah, but how many of those Red Sox players are going to be there at the end of the year? They're not going to just trade off like they always do.
We'll see. I mean, I thought they were going to do the same for Joe Ryan, and supposedly they were there at the line, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I think Durant will probably be gone this year for them. Because they were talking about it last year. I could see Durant being out.
The problem with Boston is they have commitment issues. That's why Alex Bregman is in Chicago and not in Massachusetts right now. They have commitment issues. The second they find something that they could move on from, they will do it. That's what Boston has done since Big Papi left and retired.
I'm sorry. You cannot survive trading you trade your franchise player or your face of the franchise and Devers, who you didn't like for some reason and who didn't get along with Big Papi. So if he doesn't get along with Big Papi, you got to trade Rafael Devers. But you traded Rafael Devers because you brought in Alex Bregman. Cool, copy. But the guy that you brought in, that you traded Rafael Devers to make space for, you let leave the following offseason. That's just bad signals from the front office to the fan base. It just signals dysfunction. It signals Isaiah Thomas running the New York Knicks. That's what it fucking signals.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. But we appreciate you guys for joining the conversation. Everybody, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that sub, everybody. I want to answer this one too. What's your sleeper team? I'm assuming he means in all of MLB. For me personally, I got 2 in each division. I'm gonna say Kansas City Royals are gonna be a sleeper team for me. And this one's a little bit of a stretch, but I just want to see it happen more than anything else. I want to see the Pittsburgh Pirates get back into the playoffs. That's what I want to see. Those are my 2 sleepers. What about you guys?
My two sleeper teams, I'm gonna say it real quick. For the American League, it's the Athletics. The Athletics, they are my sleeper team. I'm sorry, I had to throw it out there before you guys said it. The Athletics are a sleeper team. Their shortstop, the 19-year-old kid who they got in the Mason Miller move. I know everybody kept making fun and boo-hooing the Athletics, but they're setting their team up nice for their transition, moving into their ballpark in Las Vegas. For the National League, I would have to say Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is going to surprise some teams in that NL Central. They've been stockpiling a lot of young players. I think Hunter Green is going to take that step forward, and he's going to be in the conversation this year for the NL Cy Young. Eugenio Suarez back in Cincinnati. He loves playing in Cincinnati. He has a good relationship with the organization and like the broadcasters and stuff. It's real good. I think it's a good story for baseball. I think the Cincinnati Reds are they're my surprise team in the National League.
He's
stole mine. Who?
Hunter Green. He's out till July.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Oh, he is? Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's out till July.
That.
Yeah.
And Lodolo just went on the IL as well.
Yep.
I'm still riding with Cincy.
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm going with the Colorado Rockies, and for a couple of reasons. One, their mascot is fantastic, and two, they have a nice view from the top deck. It looks like a great stadium.
So much.
I do like Tovar though. I'm a fan of Tovar though.
Yeah,
it's a shame he has to play. It's a shame he has to wake up every morning and he's in Denver.
I'm gonna tell you right now. The A's are gonna win the West.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Look at it. Look
I'll
at it right
see
now.
you guys later. Thanks.
Look at the division. Look at the division. The
I'm
only
out.
threat in that division is Seattle. I'm sorry, that entire
Houston?
division
No,
is garbage.
Houston's got good pitching, man.
Houston has good pitching, bro. They got the fucking guy from Japan, bro.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Imai. They got Imai.
Bro,
They
They
got
have Hunter Brown.
They got Hunter Brown. They got other pitching.
Sevy will outpitch him. I'm telling you
I
right now,
feel bad.
Sevy, but I'll pitch him.
No, Sevy's like he's got a job.
Sevy was.
Oh, Future, I think you had some mic problems. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I can respect the Athletics as a sleeper team in the AL. I feel the same way. I think they got a nice young team. They got some nice pieces, and they got Wilson, Kurtz, obviously DeVries, the shortstop that they got. They're building, like Hector said, they are building a squad. I would like to see them maybe take a step a little early, because everything that's going on with that organization, that team, that fan base, they deserve it. So I mean, we touch on that. To say that they're going to win the West with what's out there, that's bold. But hey, I appreciate bold. I can say that.
It's baseball.
Yeah. My NL team. This is going to be maybe a little shocking to everybody. The Arizona Diamondbacks, and here's why.
Oh.
They made their moves in the offseason at the trade deadline last year, and till the very last series of the season, they were in it. They could have easily been Cincinnati and got beat up by the Dodgers in the first round. They were in it. They made their moves. They traded away big pieces, big bats, and Naylor and Eugenio Suarez, and they were still in the mix. They're getting Corbin Burns back, I think, around midseason. They have, I believe, decent pitching that underperformed big time last year. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Zach Allen is going to go out and try to prove himself. The other side of that is I think they actually still have a decent offense. They have a nice young squad. I love Geraldo Perdomo at shortstop. That kid is a stud, and he's starting to become maybe one of those overlooked guys in the National League. He's maybe the new Ketel Marte that just everybody doesn't appreciate. That kid is legit. Like he's
the new J-Ram. He's the new J-Ram.
Could very well could be. Very well could be. So that's my my sleeper in the NL. I really do like the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Well, for me, in the NL, I'm going to go the Atlanta Braves. I think if the Atlanta Braves could actually stay healthy, if they could stay healthy, they'll be good. I just, the reason why it's a sleeper team pick is because it's a sleeper team pick, right? I personally don't have confidence that they'll stay healthy. There's just something that always goes on with this team, whether it's their lineup or their starting rotation, that they just can't get over the hump. And then there's times where they have guys, star guys, like Austin Riley last year, not playing up to their potential, which is a massive problem. But if they could keep guys like Acuna in the lineup, and Ozzie Albies maybe has a better offensive season than he did last year, Austin Riley maybe comes back and has a better offensive season. If that rotation can stay healthy, at least 3/5 of it, they should be able to win a few games more than they did last year. I picked them to win 80 games for this year, which is a 4-game increase last year. I just don't see how they could beat this injury bug. They're just constantly behind the 8 ball. But in regards to this whole, topic of being a sleeper team, I do see the Braves being a sleeper team if they stay healthy. And I'm going to go with the A's for the AL, just like Hector and everybody else. I do think they have a ton of prospects. They have a lot of guys that came up that really were able to produce on the major league level. Nick Kurtz being one of them. Obviously, Jacob Wilson is another of them. Tyler Soderstrom. Brent Rooker. They have a ton of talent in this lineup, and there's about 4 or 5 guys in that lineup that you don't want to face as a pitcher. So if their other prospects could come to fruition, this is going to be a nice team to see if they finally land in Vegas. I think they'll be able to give a good product to that fan base there.
Real quick, Ben.
If I can, just for a second, I don't mean to
ahead.
burst your bubble, but 3/5 of the Atlanta Braves rotation is already on the shelf. So
I know.
There goes that. I just wanted to put that.
I know.
Out there.
It's so tough.
I just want to say real quick before I throw it over to Ben, folks, we got over 100 people in the chat watching us, 102. Shout out to my guy NYC C Money in the building. We got 49 people on YouTube. If you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys are subscribing and following everybody that's on the panel. All of our social media links are in the description of this video. Make sure you guys go and follow my brother, the Ace Avenue, and subscribe to his channel. He will be live during the game. One of the better, if not the best, watch along that is on YouTube is my guy, the Ace Avenue. So make sure you guys go and follow my guy. My brother Zoe is in the building. TC is still here. Our good friend Jonathan. Donnie Clark is in the building. Salute. Make sure you guys go and follow and subscribe to our good friend Jason Custodio as well. Another dope Yankee content creator. We support all the content creators that are out here, especially the 3 brothers that are underneath us as well. Roro, JV, my guy Ben. There's enough views, there's enough likes, there's enough subscribers for all of us that are on the internet to survive and to grow as well. So we're all just trying to help each other grow. Make sure you guys visit and subscribe to Latino Sports as well. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I think Ace hit it right on the dot. I think my sleeper team for the AL's the Royals. I think the Royals have a little bit of a vendetta going into this year with how last year went for them. And the fact that Kauffman Stadium now, they pushed in the fences. They did a little bit Baltimore Oriole-esque. I think their offensive numbers are going to be actually way improved with Jack Caglione. I'm a big fan of Carter Jensen. I think he's going to be DHing and then catching with Sal, going back and forth. So I'm a big fan of the Orioles. They also got my guy Isaac Collins. They traded for him. I think that's going to be a very solid bat in their lineup. And as long as the rotation can stay healthy, man, a full year of Cole Reagans, we need it. Waka, Lugo, Noah Cameron, obviously Chris Bubick. I think we have a lot of good arms in that starting rotation. And that bullpen, adding Matt Strahm there with Lucas Erceg and Carlos Estevez, I'm going with the Royals as my AL sleeper. And then NL, I do think that's a tough one because you obviously have the juggernauts and then you have like the teams below. I think I will go with the Pirates though, because I think the Pirates have the rotation for it. Jared Jones will be back eventually. And I do believe that lineup with Brandon Lau, Marcelo Zuna adding as well, Connor Griffin, service time manipulation. Talk about that. This guy's not on the opening day roster for them. So I think it's only a matter of time for him to come up, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. But I'm a fan of what the Pirates did this offseason. Maybe didn't spend as much as people wanted, but this team has improved, and they're going to make that stride for the wild card.
I want to say honorary mention for the American League. I want to give an honorary mention to the Chicago White Sox. I think the Chicago White Sox, they're changing the culture that's going on and that's been in the south side of Chicago for the past few years with the horrible baseball that you've seen. I think them bringing over Murakami, adding pieces that they add in the offseason, I think the Chicago White Sox are going to be a lot better this year than they were in years past. I don't think the White Sox are the laughing stock of the American League anymore.
I agree with that. Yeah, the White Sox definitely had a good offseason.
I agree. The South Side has been buzzing. Heck, they're excited. I think for the first time in quite some time, they have like names that they're actually excited for, like Colson Montgomery. I think he's a stud. There's a lot of pressure on him, but when they have prospects coming up like Hagen Smith, Noah Schultz, Braden Montgomery, like, oh, this is it right here. This is what I.
This is the World Series right here. White Sox versus Rockies.
Yo, what do you think the odds on that bet is?
I don't know. This is like The Rock and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18.
Somebody get their future.
This is like plus 150,000 at that point. It's gotta.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna look that up.
But yeah, heck, I think that's a great honorable mention right there.
I want to toss it over Ace. I know we did the American League East. I know we don't got that much time because we got to wrap up. I know you got to get ready and set up for your watch along. So let's flip it to the National League East because we got Roro here. We want to be able to touch on the Mets. Shout out to my guy John from NYC Pinstripe Club in the building. My guy John. I met all these fellas because of John's TikTok lives. So shout out to John. I would have never met Roro, JV, or my guy Brew if it wasn't for John and TikTok. So shout out to them and shout out to the amazing work that he does over there. So Ace, I'll toss it over to you. Let's have the conversation about the NL East, and after you go, toss it over to Roro, and then we'll kick it around the panel. Go ahead, bro.
Cool. Sounds good. I gotta head out of here right after this segment right
Yeah.
here. Right after I give these thoughts, because I gotta go set up for the live play-by-play. But it was like great to chat it up with all you guys. So when it comes to the NL East, I got the Phillies winning the NL East. It'd be hard to not think that they're the best team. Last year, I called the New York Mets not making the playoffs from the beginning of the season. This year, I'm going to go the 180. I think they will make the playoffs this year. I think they will bounce back and get in as a wild card team. I do like Atlanta, but I just don't think that they'll be able to overcome everything that they have to overcome. JV made a lot of great points. They could be a sleeper team. We'll ultimately end up having to see. But then you have two feisty teams in the Nationals and the Marlins that do like to put up fights, at least against the New York Mets, especially with the Miami Marlins. But I think I got Philadelphia winning that division and then the Mets getting in as a wild card team.
All right, Ace, I know you said you got to wrap up. Let the people know what time you start your live, what time they should be backstage, and let them know, like, just give the people who never seen you before a little bit spill of what you do over there on the Ace Ave.
Well, I will be on at the time that Usher pulled up in his drop top cruising the streets. Anybody know what time that is?
7 o'clock. Sorry.
On the dot.
7 o'clock on the dot. I will be live starting a little bit of a pregame for the game, which is on Netflix at 8 o'clock. That's a whole nother topic within itself. Hopefully, Netflix has the shit together for tonight. But 4th season of live play-by-play by yours truly. I appreciate everybody's overwhelming support. Everybody that's
course,
like
bro.
heck that sits here and that enjoys the live play-by-play of me acting a fool for my New York Yankees. We are here. The chase for 28 begins tonight. The New York Yankees, all the way up until October, will be affecting my mood for the rest of the night. For the rest of all these nights, based on if they win or lose. I cannot wait to call this season. Got a lot of things in store, including, like Heck said, got a brand new set that I'm rocking with. A lot of stuff that I will be unveiling. A lot of things that I will be unveiling as the season goes on. A lot of shows I'll be adding to it on top of all the movie stuff that I'll be doing. But of course, Hector, my brother, I appreciate you for making me year 2 of being a mainstay on Uptown Sports. And shout out to the lovely co-host Grace Monroe, who couldn't be here with us, but we will be back tomorrow. Early for Yankees Morning Brew, talking about a Yankees victory. So let's go, guys. Future, JV, Ben, Roro. Thank you guys, man. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna catch you guys next time.
Later, Ace.
Later, brother. I'll make sure I watch the Daredevil before I see you next time. All right, so we can talk about it.
Oh, it was fire. Definitely watch it. Cool. All right, guys.
Later, brother.
Later, bro.
That was my guy, the Ace Avenue. Make sure you guys go and give him a subscribe and a follow. Like I said, the link to his channel and his social media are in the description of this video. Roro, I'll kick it over to you. You heard him talk about the NL East. Let's get your take as we throw it around to the panel as well.
All right, so realistically, I really want to say undoubtedly the Mets are going to win this division, but they haven't earned that. I don't know what they are going to be yet. I have to lean Philly for the sheer fact they are the defending division champions. They ran away with it last year. Atlanta was a shell of themselves. The Mets completely disappeared. Their injuries and everything else that went on with that team completely destroyed them. So we got to see exactly how this team does play out at least with the Mets. I think it's obviously going to be a lot closer than it was. I have the Mets in the playoffs. I think they're going to be competing for that division because I think with some of the strengths that they gained and some of the weaknesses that maybe they also gained, I think it's going to balance out and be honestly a nice rounded out lineup. And I think, listen, they addressed their starting pitching. They got one of the more underrated guys in baseball, that dog Freddie Peralta, to man the head of that rotation. The other aspect to it is Dante Bichette came out and said this, and I thought it was on the money because nobody else was talking about it. What the Mets did essentially in the offseason, the thing that everyone loves to say, you know, they're missing the home runs from Pete Alonso, the RBIs, the this, the that. You know what they also cut down on? Strikeouts. You take Brandon Nimmo, you take Pete Alonso, you take Jeff McNeil out of that lineup, you add Jorge Polanco, Bo Bichette, and Marcus Semien, guys that don't strike out at the clip that these other guys do. So that is, to me, one of the biggest keys to success of an offense. Putting the ball in play, make a defense make a play. So I think this whole offense is going to be completely different. But I think it's going to be a close race. And unfortunately, I do have to give the edge to Philly. I think they've earned that right.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I'm gonna go with Philly too. I think to me the biggest question is obviously the corner defense for the New York Mets. Are we really going to trot out Bichette at third, a guy that's never played that position, and Jorge Polanco at first? I'm really hoping not Polanco at first, and that Brett Beatty does take over that position, and you have Polanco DH most of the time. That would make the most sense to me. But as Roro said, I think Philly has the better bullpen. I think they have the better starting pitching. I think Christopher Sanchez is an absolute stud, and I think he'll be a top 3 Cy Young Award recipient, to be honest with you. And I just think right now the Mets they're close. They're very close. I think this is maybe a 3-game difference between the Phillies and the Mets. I don't see it being that much more. But right now, I just think it's Philly's division to lose. I really do. I do think the Mets will make it as a wild card team, but Philly right now, I think their offense and their lineup is a little bit better, and I do think their rotation and their bullpen is a little bit more sound. So I'm going to go with Philly to win that division.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with the guys because I think Philly, like JV said, they have the experience, they have the team chemistry. I think if there's one thing that I could say is once Zach Wheeler comes back, even if he's like 80% of what he was before the injury he suffered, I think they're going to be straight. I think Andrew Painter finally getting the call. I think he's actually going to have a decent rookie year. I like this Phillies team. They got a decent bullpen. They bought Brad Keller in that bullpen. I'm all about the Phillies. I think the Mets are going to make it hard for them. I will say that, but I think experience is going to matter big time in this situation. So I got the Phillies winning the NL East again.
For me, and I think I've said this in conversations with you fellas in the past or whenever we talked in the offseason. If Freddie Peralta was on the Mets last year, the Mets are a playoff team. That's what they were missing. They were missing an ace starter for their rotation. If they would have had a top of the line number 1 starter, if Freddie Peralta did the same thing he did for the Brewers for the Mets are a playoff team. You add him to this rotation, even with the question marks that the Mets have in their bullpen. I think the Mets, they have a better lineup than Philadelphia. Philadelphia, they have question marks. You got an aging Bryce Harper, who's not the MVP Bryce Harper that he was in years past. He is on the downside of his career. So I do think that the Mets, they do have a better lineup. I agree with you guys when it comes to the starting rotation and Christopher Sanchez, but I think having Freddie Peralta, if Kodai Senga is healthy, that's a big ass if. And what are you going to get from Nolan McLean? So the Mets, they do have some nice young promising arms that can help this rotation out at the major league level, but there's still question marks until they prove it at the majors. The difference that's going to determine on who wins the NL East is going to come down to the bullpen. And as of right now, the Phillies, they do have the better back end of the bullpen with Johan Duran. But what is their bridge to Johan Duran? How does that look? What's the 6th inning going to look like? What's the 7th inning? What's the 8th inning going to look like? So it's a toss-up. I would say 50-50, but I would lean more for them on the Mets because I think the Mets, they have a better lineup. I think they have the better 1-2-3 punch with Lindor, Bo Bichette, and Juan Soto.
I love that take. I love that take.
I'm going to deviate a little bit, and I'm going to say right now that it's going to be a 3-headed race. Assuming the Braves stay healthy, it will be the 3-headed race again. However, I think Philly legs it out more than New York and Atlanta. But the thing is and this is something that I will stand by, the Mets defense did not improve. Right field they did with Carlos Bench. But outside of that, the infield defense is pretty much just Lindor. Center field also, I should say, I probably should also say center field, especially with Luis Robert Jr. But the defense as a whole scares me the most for the New York Mets, and that will be their Achilles heel going into 2026.
Marcus Semien, who won the Gold Glove last year at second base.
I forgot you guys had Semien. Regardless, though, left field, no. The hot corner, I'm sorry, but no. And then first base, Polanco has never played first base, so we don't know how that's going to translate.
I do think Beatty's going to take that slot. Yeah, it just makes so much more sense. Polanco's going to go back
to DH where he belongs, and that's no.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to.
Beatty's going to be the guy at first base. I say mid-May at max.
If Beatty goes
Yeah.
back, then it's a little more like, yeah, nah, then it's a little better. But actually, no, a lot better. But with what you're going into the season with, the corners, questionable. Left field, very questionable.
You can have that same conversation when you look at the Phillies, because Kyle Schwarber, he's not going to be a left fielder, right? So who are they going to put out there? You got Adolis Garcia, who is on a decline. You got Justin Crawford, who's a promising young player, but him and Carson Benz, they're still young kids that haven't proved it at the major league level, so they cancel each other out. So the same conversation that you're having about the Mets defense is suspect. It's the same thing that you could have when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies. JT Realmuto, he's shout out to him for getting the bag, but that's going to be one of the worst contracts or agent contracts that the Phillies have on their roster. Already pointed out Bryce Harper and his decline as well. So I think it's going to come down to the offense and their lineup. And I think the Mets lineup is going to produce more than the Phillies lineup, because the Phillies lineup, they have more question marks. I think the Mets, they have a better 1-2-3 in Lindor, Bo Bichette, and Soto. When you look at the Phillies, who is it? It's Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and JT Realmuto.
And Trey Turner too.
Trey Turner, if he has his song playing and he can hit home runs, yeah, you know.
I
Living
just,
in a big blue world.
I
Yeah.
just straight up think it's going to be a three-legged race between the three big heads in the NL East. But I just think
see
Philly
Atlanta in that
legs
mix
it
at
out.
all.
Huh?
Yeah,
I don't see Atlanta in that
making-
mix at all. Their ace is down already, and Strider, they got 4/5 of their rotation is already hurt. Ozzy Albies can't put together a full season. Austin Riley gets hurt every other day.
Okay, we
Michael
still have
Harris
to
plays
see.
great for half a season. Matt Olson
Acuna's
hasn't been
coming off a
50 home
major
runs.
injury.
Yeah, Matt Olson hasn't been a 50 home run guy in 4 years. I mean, you don't know what these guys are. Matt Olson was first half of last year, he was atrocious. Michael
like I
Harris, first half of last year, he wasn't good. And then he turned it on fine. But Michael Harris has not put together, to me, a full season of who he shows to be. He hasn't done that yet. And that's going to be huge, because if you got half of your lineup cold and the other half hot or hurt, you're screwed.
I know we're gonna have to get ready to wrap things up to get out of here, but I'm gonna throw it over to Ben. Ben, you got any predictions, any winnings for us today? Like what are we doing?
Actually, I think I was tailing actually JV's parlay today. JV, if you have your parlay on deck, I tailed.
Jay, he sent it to me. I'm gonna share it on the screen.
Share-
real
yeah, I was gonna
quick.
say, if you
Go
could
ahead,
share
as
it,
you-
yeah.
as you-
I
yeah,
tailed the
as you
exact
talk,
same
yeah.
one.
Saw that in your story. Saw that one on your story.
No, that wasn't it. That's just.
Oh, that wasn't it. Oh
nah,
boy.
this JV one though, I like.
This one right here. Aaron Judge to hit a home run. Max Fried, 4 strikeouts. New York run line 1.5. Rafael Devers to record a hit.
It's definitely spicy.
Spicy, Bo. Hey,
I'm
we running
tailing
with
it.
it.
I'm
I can
I
telling
see
you.
it.
believe in the judge.
I can see it.
Oh, by the way, I did look that up. Rockies White Sox World Series is plus 52,000. $10 would win you 5,200.
The Rockies money line, baby.
I'm doing it.
I
I'm
may
doing
not
it
watch.
right now.
I may
I'll
not watch
donate.
baseball if that happens.
I'll donate.
If-
the $10.
That'd be a
In a
hell
lo-
of a
wait,
way to
time
go
out.
into the strike. I'll tell you.
I was
that
about to say, in a lockout year, that would be the worst thing.
Oh
be
my
terrible.
god.
that might save baseball.
No, I don't know. I think that might
See,
kill baseball. You might see
Yeah, it might
people
end
heading
it.
out.
Might end it.
You might end me.
I guess the
Really
last.
did.
I guess the last thing I'll say before obviously we wrap up, like, do you guys have a World Series prediction, like AL, NL, and like the winner maybe?
Amongst the AL teams, if we're
That's
talking
rough.
about just amongst the teams, I think amongst the AL, it's Toronto, Yankees, Mariners.
I like that.
And then the NL, obviously the favorites. We do not mention them in this house. Mets are definitely up there. They're number 2, actually. I have Mets number 2 and Phillies number 3.
Wow.
I know I have
So
the
you-
Phillies winning the division, but I have the Mets going further.
Okay,
Okay, that makes sense.
fair enough. Fair enough.
My World Series prediction, though, is Yankees and Phillies and Yankees in 6. So there's that.
Fair enough.
How do you bet against the Dodgers right now?
I don't. It's not that. It's just because I've been
at least
riding that
get there.
Yeah,
To
I've
at
been
least get
riding.
there.
Yeah, I've been riding that like 2026 Yankees Phillies horse for about like 2 years now, so I'm just sticking to it.
I hear you.
Hold on, I'm trying to see this. Did you do like an 8-leg parlay, bro, with wild teams on it?
I did.
Oh, so that's not the one that I don't know for some reason why that didn't pull up. So it is a 8-leg parlay. Yankees money line, Chicago Cubs money line, Boston Red Sox money line at Cincinnati, Houston money line against the Angels, Dodgers money line against Arizona, Phillies money line against Texas, Milwaukee money line against Chicago, Seattle money line against Cleveland. If you bet 20, you win in 726. I'm putting 20. You know
I put
what?
100. I put 100 to win 3,800. I'm trying to
Hey.
buy some new shoes.
Do you got to pay rent? Is everything good over there? You good, bro?
I'm good, bro. I just got a new
Okay.
house. I'm chilling, bro. I'm
Oh,
chilling.
okay. I'm just
I'm
saying.
chilling.
bad. My apologies.
Blink twice if you need help, bro. You know. I'm just
I got
saying.
to blink 4 times.
He's
4 times.
staring at the camera, wide eyed.
You just don't tell my wife. Just don't.
You don't tell her. She has to. You got to make sure she doesn't see this episode.
Oh God.
Nah, she'll be sleeping by 8:30. It's all good.
I put that one in. Last thing before we get out of here. Any crazy MLB storylines that you guys are interested this year? Like for me, I want to see like we brought it up with Pittsburgh, but I want to see what's going to happen with Paul Skeens. What's the narrative that's going to be shaping around Paul Skeens? Like basically, how long are we until it's trade scenarios for Paul Skeens? How far into the season are we doing? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the season that the trade scenarios start coming out? Like, what storylines are you guys interested for this upcoming season?
I think it's more Tarek Skubal than it is Skeens for me. I think Skubal is the bigger question mark. Whether, let's say Detroit is 7 or 8 games out, right? Do they make a deal? Do they deal Skubal to a contender or to another team that just has a ton of prospects that they're willing to give up and do business that way? I think right now with the way Pittsburgh kind of positioned themselves, they need Paul Skeens. I don't think that Skeens is a guy that's going to be on their radar to trade right now. Maybe in the next 2 years after this lockout, they'll take a look and see you know what they could get for a guy like him. But I think he'll be a mainstay in Pittsburgh. I think the biggest story right now is what is going to happen with Skubal, and if the Tigers are really out of it by the deadline, let's say, like I said, 6, 7, 8 games for whatever reason, which I don't think they should be, but let's just say for whatever, yeah, they shouldn't. But I think the only way he gets traded at the deadline is if they're out of it by a substantial amount. But I do think he's not going to resign there. I think he's as good as gone if he gets traded or if he just goes to somewhere else via free agency. But I definitely would want to see what happens there if the Tigers, for whatever reason, are not going to make the playoffs by the deadline. Like I said, if they're 6, 7, 8 games out for whatever reason, injuries, just not playing well, do they make a deal?
I got 2. I got a funny haha and then an actual serious storyline that I will follow. The funny haha is the White Sox winning more than 63 games. That's the funny. It could happen. The serious one is that I think, and I strongly feel this way, is that Skubal will be traded to Boston.
Yikes.
I see the Red Sox making a massive push, assuming if the Tigers are out of it. Again, assuming. I think the Boston Red Sox pull off a trade to get Tariq Skubal.
Now, call me crazy, just to piggyback off what Future said. If I was the Red Sox, I would be more comfortable giving up my prospects for Tariq Skubal than Joe Ryan. I think Tariq Skubal is the more superior pitcher than Joe Ryan. I know Joe Ryan has more years of control. Tariq Skubal is a free agent after this year. It's going to come down to outbidding every other team in baseball. But if I'm the Red Sox, if I want to make that statement that we're back this season, a one year rental on Tariq Skubal, I'll be more comfortable giving up my prospects for Skubal than for Joe Ryan, because Skubal is the far superior pitcher, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And I don't think that's a crazy hot take. Very randomly, Ben, can you tell me what is alternative strikeout? Like what is that on the
Well, that's
betting
just
side?
like instead of the actual line, if you want to decrease it or increase it, you could do like for example, let's say I think Max Fried's line is over 5.5 today. I think it is. And you could make it below. You could do 4, you could do 3, or you could do 6, you could do 7. That's alternative strikeout, should I say?
Because it has here Logan Webb 5+ strikeouts, but it says alt strikeouts. What's that mean?
Yeah, that's an alternate spread. So
That's
it's
an
not the
alternate
actual.
spread, yeah.
It's not the actual spread. So his spread may be, let's say, 6 or over under 6. But like Brew was saying, you could actually adjust it to where you want it to be. You can go lower than the actual spread, or you can go above it because you think maybe he actually exceeds 5 strikeouts. So you can actually pick alternate run line as well. Heck, most run lines in baseball are usually set at -1.5, +1.5. And you can actually adjust it. You could pick 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and you could do it that way as well. So there's some ways to make money through the alternate spreads.
I got Judge and Stanton both hitting home runs. Is that washed? Is that bad?
No, it's definitely doable. I mean,
It's doable. The balls might be juiced in this Netflix premiere. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked. I would
that
be
was something we were talking about
very
yesterday.
shocked.
I'll just be honest.
My bold take for tonight, and I mentioned this when I first came on the show. If you guys are still here and heard it and remember it, great. If you don't, I'll remind you. I told you that. I said that Ryan McMahon shockingly has the most appearances against Logan Webb and actually has the most success. He's hitting over 300 against him. So I took him to hit a bomb tonight.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that.
I love the Ryan McMahon love.
Yeah. Same. Any
Hector knows. I wanted McMahon back when the whole Jazz trade rumors was going around.
Unfortunately, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, unfortunately.
3 years ago when they should have got him, absolutely.
Absolutely.
They did. They got him.
But before we get out of here, I just gotta say, Ben, JV, Roro, I appreciate you fellas jumping on with us. We're gonna be doing this more often during the season. Sorry that I'm recording off of my laptop camera because coming back from Miami, I lost my bag that had all my web gear. So somebody out there got a brand new microphone, brand new camera. If only thing I ask is if you could send me my hard drive that has all my footage from Japan. So please, I lost all my footage from Japan. So whoever finds it, please, that's all I ask. You can keep everything
that's
else.
what got delivered to my house. Shit.
Go fuck yourself, Roro.
The guy's in the chat. Heck, he's like, "Yo, this camera's dope."
I know, right? No, but fellas, I appreciate you guys for coming up. Thank you guys so much. Again, last words for the people before you guys get out of here, and I'm gonna do a roll call and wrap things up.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, obviously, it's a pleasure with you guys. Obviously, Future, Ace, and Hector. Obviously, thank you for having us up. This is it's a beautiful thing because it's a beautiful time of year, and obviously, for those of you that maybe just joined, me, Ben, and Mike have a little channel that we're doing on YouTube. We have a sports media company that we've been trying to rock out with, JBM Sports Media. You can follow us on Instagram at JBM Sports Media, on YouTube at the same handle at JBM Sports Media, and we're also on TikTok. We put up shorts on YouTube. We put up episodes on YouTube as well. We just did a whole season prediction episode of all the teams in the major leagues, and we predicted what they were going to do, and we predicted their under-over win totals as well. So if you could check that out, but please go subscribe to the YouTube channel. And like I said, it's always a pleasure being up here with you guys talking baseball.
Yeah, just to kind of say, obviously JBM Sports Media, we always will be appreciative of coming on here to Hector's platform. I mean, it's an amazing thing. Every time we're on here, I feel like there's always good laughs, good conversations. It's a great time. If you want to find me personally, it's Brew Crew SW on TikTok. Going to be posting a lot of Brewers content, but sometimes I'll tap into some baseball content if anything urgent happens or anything massive. But yes, I will be at opening day tomorrow, Brewers White Sox in Milwaukee, and I know Mike will be at the Mets home opener tomorrow. So we're excited, and baseball's back, baby. Let's go.
I'm supposed to be there tomorrow, Roro. So I'll hit you up. But again, I'm supposed to be. There's some back behind the scenes issue that, let's put it like that.
Hit me up either way. We'll talk about it.
JV,
listen,
you know, I told yeah.
I got
I'll,
you. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to be there nice and early, tailgating before and potentially after the game. Very excited for that. I'm actually going with our very good friend Greg. Somehow he got roped in the car with us, so that's going to be a fun ride to the stadium. So I'll say that much. Shout out Greg if he's still here listening. But listen,
I'm definitely gonna make a call on that one, and
You should.
maybe get the feds involved.
You probably should.
You guys in a car together is not good. I don't trust.
You probably
two of
should.
you.
Thanks for putting that on the internet. I really appreciate it. Anyway, not much more I can say about JBM Sports Media than my two guys over here haven't already. Hector, Future, Ace, you guys are always spectacular. I tune in as much as I can to every show that you guys put up. Unfortunately, the times that you are live, I'm stuck at work dealing with what I deal with. So that is the unfortunate part. But if you guys aren't regulars here, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, I'm not even a Yankee fan, and I watch this guy as much as I can, all three. And also with Grace Monroe, shout out to her as well. So you guys are fantastic. I appreciate you guys having us up here. And my final bold take of the season, this is a guarantee that it's the guarantee of all guarantees. Emmanuel Clase does not blow a save this season.
That's the best. That's the best.
Just want to throw that.
Oh God.
Oh yikes!
Oh God.
Yikes.
Ben, you got some pressure to follow up on that. That was a crazy hot take.
Oh yeah,
I don't think.
No, I can't. But I guess a bold take I did have, and I didn't even say it, is that
He goes,
either
"I can't."
Judge or Otani won't win their respective MVP for their league. One of those
Okay.
will not win it. We'll see which one it is.
Drugs are bad for you, kids. Drugs are bad for you. That's
Really
all.
bad.
Yeah,
Really bad.
absolutely. But
I think I
fellas,
broke
Ben, Jay, you really did. You really did. Fellas, appreciate you guys. I'm gonna let you guys go as I get ready to wrap it up with the roll call. But shout out to my homies Ben, JV, and Mikey Caliendo, aka Roro. Love you guys so much.
See you guys, man.
Later, guys. Love you.
Peace. Later. Those were the fellas from JBM Sports Media Group. Make sure you guys go out there and give them a follow, give them a subscribe. Future, thank you for hopping on with us as well. I'm gonna do the roll call. My guy Sunil, thank you so much for tuning in. Donnie Clark, A1 since day one in the building. My guy Jonathan, my guy John from the NYC Pinstripe Club in the building. Paranormal Funhouse is here. Salute to you, John, the Bigo Dad. Chris Perez, Chris P. Jr. is here. Shout out to you. Salute. Of course, our guy Jonathan was sitting on 43 likes on the show. Make sure you guys go and follow my man, the Pinstripe Bugle, on Instagram. One of the dopest social media accounts that are out there that cover the New York Yankees. I was able to link up with him at spring training for the first time IRL. Make sure you guys go and give my guy E a follow. Salute. Who else do we have here? Who is here? Hold on, because we got Sunil going crazy typing the same thing. TC Stills, I appreciate you. Zoe was in the building. Of course, my brother Caleb from Latino Sports was here. Salute. Future. Final score. What are you thinking on the score for tonight? Because I put some bets in, I put some parlays in. Hopefully I hit, so I got some money.
I think it's going to be a close game, but I think it's going to end with a 6-3 score Yankees. I think they'll pull out with 6 runs tonight. Max will pitch into the 6th inning. I don't think he goes past the 6th, and we have a good game. I think we're just going to have a solid game.
I'm saying 8-3 Yankees win. Stanton and Aaron Judge are going yard, so I can hit on my parlay. That's why I'm pulling for it. But I got Judge and Stanton both going yard in this game. I think Cody Bellinger is also going to have a good game as well. So mark it on that. 8-3 Yankees win. Max Fried 6 innings. He's going to give up 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. I'll give that stat line for Max.
No, I bet I can definitely rock with it. I think Max, for me, I think I'll have him at like 6 Ks. Or 6 or 7 Ks, something around that margin. He might. That's just where I have him, but I think he's gonna have a little bit of a rocky first inning. I think he's gonna sort of ease into his own, and just have like a little bit like he's gonna have a solid game, but not like a Max Fried game. Is the way I'll put it.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that. Folks in the chat, thank you guys so much for participating in all of the polls. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. Thank you guys for hitting the subscribe button. The New York Yankees march for the 2026 championship begins tonight in San Francisco on Netflix. I got to get used to saying on Netflix. But until next time, I'm your guy, Hector.
I'm Future.
And this has been the Yankees Evening Brew, whatever the name is. And until next time, Arriba the Dirt Sheet, peace, salutation, drink some water, say something positive about yourself, beautiful people. And like always, deuces.